Misaki Sakamiya can be seen at the beginning. During helping, Corpse God moves into the torture building. She's watching a live streaming video on her phone, where it is shown that the camera spots skeletons in the window below those who rescued the children in the Shakozawa building. Seeing this, Misaki gets excited and says yes, that happened yesterday. She guessed that the ghosts were real. Takumi Kuria stood behind her and said, "That's what it feels like." And then it is seen that Corpse God leads 2 skeletons to enter the room, those who had the box in their hands. After that, Corpse God is seen reading an encyclopedia. Takumi asks Misaki if it doesn't bother her that she's hanging out with the guy who killed her. Misaki replies that no, she has never died before. It is very thrilling. She doesn't mind. Upon hearing this, Takumi says, oh well, then her screws were always loose. Moreover, he never knew that Clarissa owned this building. The Corpse God then tells Takumi that this is inconvenient for him, but he is still helping. He appreciates it. Frankly speaking, he does not know anything in this world. Then Takumi asks if he wants to live here. Corpse God didn't say anything. In the next scene, Takumi asks that the body he is reincarnated into is his family, right? What will happen to them? After that, Corpse God says that since the summer vacation is going on, he contacted Polka Shinoyama's family to say he is spending summer vacation on a journey of self-discovery. Corpse God then shows some postcards to Takumi and says that Clarissa suggests that he send postcards periodically. After hearing this, Takumi asks, is that the trick to keep cover? With a sigh, Corpse God says that he doesn't know what he will do next. He only knows his family name. Takumi asks if he can't pull memories from his brain or something. After that, Corpse God said that the language extraction was simple because it is an embedded skill of repetition. But the older the memory, the harder it is to recover. Or it can also be said that his last memory left a strong impression. When Takumi was assembling a monster stand, he said another word. Ever since seeing the monster skeletons, he has got to believe it. Corpse God said he's still not certain it's another world due to their similarities. The whales depicted with scientific authority in this encyclopedia are beasts of legend in their world. He also said that what matters most to him is that Guildwood doesn't exist in religion. What? asked Takumi. Corpse God says they considered him an abomination and tried to destroy him. He was a colossal skeleton monster over there. Takumi imagines the colossal skeleton and asks, what do they call you over there? He answers that in his language, it is called cadaver spirit. But in their language, it can be the Corpse God. Misaki was excited to hear this and said that it was very cool. And Takumi says in response, do you think so? Then the Corpse God says peace may finally be within his grasp. All he needs to do now is talk down whoever paid to have this body killed. Takumi replies that neither does he know who the client is nor Misaki. Takumi asks, did you ask Clarissa? Corpse God says that yes, he did. He said she had to keep the secret, but let him use this floor in exchange. She also said that forcing her would be the last resort. Corpse God says that he will investigate on his own, and Clarissa did agree to refuse any more contracts on his life after all. Takumi asks if he believes her. Also, he said that Clarissa is not the only intermediary assassin. Does he know this? And even though he supposes very few people exist who could kill Corpse God, except lemmings maybe. Corpse God asks, lemmings? Takumi says to forget about it and to sit at the computer to do something. After that, Takumi asks Corpse God if he is sure he doesn't mind having Misaki around. She did kill him. Corpse God says that he was not the one who died. Then Takumi asks Misaki, was bringing this nut job back to life a good idea? In reply, Corpse God says, well, this body's owner, Polka, told him to forgive her, so it should be good. Hearing this, Takumi asks if he has talked with Polka's ghost. Corpse God replied, more than that. He's right there. Then Takumi looked up and saw that the drone he had lost control of yesterday. After that, Corpse God said that his soul was still in this body, so he imbued it into a nearby vessel. Do you mind if I borrow this until he finds a substitute for him to possess? Asks Corpse God. Forget that, Takumi says, and asks if he means he swaps people's souls around, like doll clothes. Corpse God answered that he wouldn't deny it. Human lives are like toys or dolls to him. Corpse God says that now, for the sake of this peaceful life, it's time to earn some money, and asks, does this world have any jobs I'd be good at? A man comes to contact Misaki and says to help deal with the hitman after him. Masaki says that she is already in the middle of another job. Corpse God, aka Polka, says it is okay. He accepts his request. Does Takumi think that what is going on in the mind of the Corpse God? That night, the man leads Masaki into an ambush instead and shoots her when she defeats multiple grown men. The Corpse God can be seen behind. He says that he forgot to mention that Masaki is now a zombie so that she won't die in 2 shots. She is now a lot tougher than before. She receives and attacks another wave of men until the Corpse God acts on behalf of the infants whose souls haunt the man. 2 great skeletal hands erupt from the earth and mold the remaining men into a human knot. In the next scene, it can be seen that the 2 men who escaped the scene ran into an armory. Lemmings killed them. And meanwhile, in the aftermath, Masaki marvels at her lack of bullet hole, while Takumi reevaluates Corpse God's values. Later, the 3 order pizza and talked about Masaki being a zombie. Corpse God reaffirms that he believes his world and this world is connected. Clarissa pauses her late-night fun with Karuto Ichinos and Izuna Ashiro to answer a call from an unhappy customer. She disputes the client's insistence that Polka is a mere high schooler, insinuates that the client lied about that from the beginning, and declares their business relationship on hold. A pair of patrol officers arrive at the ambush site to investigate the reported gunshots. When Lemming shatters the human knot with a single punch, the officers come running and discuss the men whose limbs are impossibly twined and intertwined. In Yotokaro's external staircase, Kozoburo Aras begs the mercy of 3 bouncers for whom he can only offer a deep bow. How could he have predicted that 1 beer would cost 60,000 yen? He knocks the men senseless. Inside the bar, Tsubasuke Iwanomi acts drunk to extract information from Yurai on the Shakuzawa building fire and Clarissa, since he had specifically come to see her. He is told that she has taken the late-night shift, which is unusual, and he is all the more chagrined when duty calls, meaning he and Aras cannot wait until Clarissa's shift starts. Upon arriving at the human knot scene with Aras, Iwanomi admits that he was called for good reason. This troublemaking is his team's specialty, and says that a cop's work is never done. Shinjuku Police Station can be seen at the beginning of it. Standing in front of a whiteboard, Tsubaki Iwanomi shows the other members of Comp 3 various troublemakers: the Gator Sisters, the Barber, Riddle Riddle, the Grocer, the Poisoner, Donner Donner, and Phantom Solitaire. All of them are troublemakers who are either imprisoned or dead. One of them asks who gave them such strange nicknames. In reply, the other says that they have given it. Tsubaki explains how cracking unbelievable cases like these, which cannot be made public, is their job at Comps 3. He then gestures to the 3 troublemakers still at large: the Grim Reaper, Fire-Breathing Bug, and Lemmings. He surmises that Fire-Breathing Bug might be responsible for the fire at the Shikuzawa building, as Sakai Aikawa explains how Lemmings' footprints were found at the scene of the knotted-up humans from the day before. Iwanomi says that although these cases seem supernatural, the perpetrators have always been humans. Even the Phantom Solitaire is simply an incredibly skilled human, and since they're human, Comps 3 can handle and catch them. At the same time, Corpse God transfers the soul of the real Polka Shinoyama from Takumi Kyuria's drone to a stuffed shark toy. Takumi enthusiastically welcomes his drone back home, while the Corpse God tells the real Polka that he will borrow his name and identity a little longer, apologizing. Masaki Sakamai enters the room, excitedly inquiring about the cute shark toy, not knowing she is hugging the real Polka. Takumi says that the real Polka may be a weirdo too, as he is getting excited about the girl who killed him. Polka tries to retort but cannot speak. Corpse God explains how he could allow Polka to talk, but it would require a fresh pair of human vocal cords, as creating something from scratch would take too much mana. He then says that before worrying about their monetary situation, he should focus on replenishing his magic, and that exorcising ghosts would be effective. He explains a different way of restoring his magic: mana stones, alias regular gems in this world. Takumi tells him to face reality. Gemstones are expensive. Corpse God and Masaki visit a jewelry store, and Corpse God quickly becomes heartbroken from seeing the high prices, saying how easy it was to get one's hands on these gems back in his world. Thanking the store clerk, they both exited the jewelry store, but ran into Kozoburo Ross. Locking Takumi's drone, the detective runs past the Corpse God and Masaki and performs a very high jump, effortlessly snatching the drone out of the air and asking Takumi why he is trying to run away. Tsubaki Iwanami enters Yutukoryo, saying he is glad he could catch Clarissa this time, and that he would like to chat with her. He asks Lisa about his involvement in yesterday's Shakuzawa fire and the tangled humans. Ross apologizes to Corpse God and Misaki for startling them and tells them to ignore him. While he tries to get Takumi to speak, Corpse God interrupts him, saying that the drone belongs to his friend. Ross tells him that being friends with someone like Takumi is no good and that the Corpse God should cut ties with him immediately. A flashback plays out with Takumi explaining his previous experience with Ross, how the detective single-handedly wiped out the gang that Takumi formerly belonged to, and that he is scary, advising Corpse God not to answer his questions and to hide his powers. Takumi tells him that he can forget about his peaceful life if Ross sets his eyes on him. Ross proceeds to ask the Corpse God if Takumi was the one who asked to be friends, and if his parents didn't teach him not to trust strangers who act nice. As the risk of the police investigating Corpse God is becoming too big, Takumi decides to call Ross on the phone. He tells Ross that these two children are his gaming buddies, whose relatives work at Clarissa's bar, and that they are innocent. Having filmed the whole scene with his drones, he also threatens the investigator with releasing a video of him hassling innocent kids onto the internet to get him to back off. Ross is not impressed. Instead, he tells Corpse God and Misaki that Takumi is a guy who would sell out his friends in a heartbeat if he was to get into danger, just like how it happened last time Takumi was part of a gang. The two get away by being carried into the air with a large skeletal hand by the Corpse God. Takumi then calls the Corpse God and admits that Ross was right about him and would sell out their secrets without a second thought if his life was threatened. However, Corpse God responds by saying that he does not care because he has no more valuable secret than a friend's life. At the Shinjuku police station, Ross asks Sakai Aqua to investigate the footprint of the kick to his stomach. Two other investigators were seen talking about Lemmings. One of them explains how Lemmings is a mysterious and dangerous man, willing to do any job: murder, protection, transportation, kidnapping, robbery, destroying evidence, debt collection, you name it, and it does not matter. He remarks how he has seen him in action. He was in the battle against several men wielding submachine guns, and even though he was getting peppered by bullets from all directions, he wasn't even fazed, and killed each one of them by snapping their necks. Tsubaki Iwanami is seen getting drunk in Yutukoyu. He drunkenly insists that Clarissa admit to working with some troublemakers, not fire-breathing Bug or Lemmings, but the Grim Reaper. The bunny girls ask him who those people are and how cute their name is: Lemmings. Iwanami says nothing is cute about Lemmings. He frightens him by breaking through a team of 30 men. Takumi notices Ross heading outside the police station, realizing that the policeman is headed to Yutukoru. Takumi spills his coffee, completely missing that the Lemmings can also be seen being on the move on his camera. Ross arrives at the bar, leading to a comedy moment where Misaki explains that he is the guy who tried to hit her and force himself on her, the latter of which Ross denies. Just as Iwanami and Ross will ask the two some questions, lest they be charged with obstruction of justice, the lights suddenly go out in the bar. Corpse God and Misaki want to use this opportunity to escape, but are stopped as Corpse God notices something on the ceiling. Let's see how Comp 3 can end the story of Lemmings, and can Corpse God keep his promise. And please do not forget to subscribe to my channel.